Gananam tva ganapatigam havamahe kavim kavinamupamashravastamam Jyeshtarajam brahmanam brahmanaspata anashruṇvannotibhis siddhasadanam Shri Mahaganadhipataye namaha Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave namaha Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om. Dear friends, in the last class we had completed this 13th shloka of 6th Adhyaya. Samam Kaya Shirogrivam etc. we have completed. And I just read out this shloka. Prashantatma Vigatabhihi Brahmachari Vrate Sthitaha Manassamyamya Matchittaha Yukta Asita Matparaha. So we have to see that shloka. The context is like this. Just to recapitulate, we are talking about a sannyasi, a person who has graduated from Karma Yoga to Dhyana Yoga. He has renounced all the activity. So we are talking about that sannyasi. But it is also a sort of guidance. It is also a role. He is also a role model for all the grahasthas. Why are we as grahasthas interested in this? Because every human being has to know what is the highest ideal and try to emulate those ideals to some extent. You may not become a sannyasi, but you will imbibe some qualities of those people by seeing their behavior, by seeing their conduct, how they eat and how they behave, how they conduct themselves. So we are seeing the behavior of a sannyasi here in this, and also the mental attitude of a sannyasi. So what is this thing? Prashantatma. Prashantatma, I think this shloka I read out and explained broadly. Yes. We can read the Bhashyam. Prashantatma Prakashena Shantaha Atma Antahkaranam Yasya Saha
Prakashena Shantaha Atma Antahkaranam Yasya Saha
Saha Ayam Prashantatma.
Saha Ayam Prashantatma.
So Prakashena Shantaha, pra is an upasarga, Prashanta means Prakashena Shantaha Uparataha Atma Antahkarana. Shantaha means that is where an Antahkarana from which all this raga, dvesha have been removed. Slowly they have been evicted, let us say. all these raga, dvesha have been pushed out. So they have been, the mind has been emptied of all these raga, dvesha and all these things. So that is a Prashantatma. When your mind is full of these things, there will be no peace. There will be no question of Shanti. So Prashantatma, it presupposes that all these things have been driven away. Atma Antahkaranam Yasya Saha Prashantatma. Then Vigata Bhihi. Vigata Bhayaha. So Bhaya is another thing where your mind is not still, where your mind is not, not balanced, or if you have not attained that equanimity, that element of fear will be there. Element of fear. Vedanta says, Dvitiyadvai Bhayam. The very famous statement of Upanishad is, Dvitiyadvai Bhayam. If you see an enemy only, there is a fear. If you don't see an enemy, there is no fear. If you always visualize that something is going to happen, then your mind is fully there in fear. But here we are talking about a sannyasi who has come out of all that realm of all this raga, dvesha and all that, and then whose mind is totally without fear. And another interesting line which Anandagiri writes is, Sarvakarma Parityage Shastriya Nishchayavasat Nissandigdha Buddhitvam. He writes, Anandagiri gives a slightly more he elaborates that line, saying that in observing various religious rituals etc., there can be an element of fear. Suppose you are doing some yajna. So while doing that yajna, whether say the Ritvik has to sit here facing north or facing south, that becomes a big dilemma. Or whether you have to put a darbha in a particular way, or you have to put it in a different way, is another dilemma. And some people do ask, okay, I am reading what is this Lalita Sahasram, can I read Vishnu Sahasram or not? Because somebody said, somebody who is reading Vishnu Sahasram should not read Lalita Sahasram, otherwise you will go to hell or something like that. Some Swamiji goes and says, you should never read Lalita Sahasram, you have to read only Vishnu Sahasranama. So that will create some amount of fear and some sort of anxiety in the mind of that particular devotee. So religion or ritual can create some element of fear. Religions sometimes can create an element of fear. You have to worship only this one. If you don't worship this, you will go to hell, something like that. So such type of restrictions are also not there in the case of this man, because he has graduated to a particular level where he sees all these things as something at a transactional level only. Even religious observances, all these rituals, all these things, he looks at them at a very transactional level. Then, so that is why he is vigata bhihi. So he has no element of fear. Then, brahmachari vrate sthitaha.
Brahmachari vrate sthitaha.
Brahmacharinaha vratam brahmacharyam.
Brahmacharinaha vratam brahmacharyam.
Guru shishrusha bhiksha bhuktyadi.
Guru shishrusha bhiksha bhuktyadi.
Tasmin sthitaha.
Tasmin sthitaha.
Tad anusthata bhavet ityarthaha.
Tad anusthata bhavet ityarthaha.
So he is supposed to do anushtanam. Anushtanam is follow that procedure of what? Follow the procedure of a brahmachari. So brahmachari, we have got two ways of understanding it. Brahmani charati iti brahmachari. That is one whose mind is fixed on the thought of Brahman. One who is in that level of nididhyasana. After doing the shravana, manana and all that, one who is in that level of nididhyasana, that is brahmachari vrata at the highest level. The second level for the practicing sannyasi, suppose you come to the level of a practicing sannyasi. So this practicing sannyasi, he has to behave like how a brahmachari behaves. We know that there are 4 ashramas: brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha and sannyasi. What does a brahmachari do? Brahmachari goes to a guru. Brahmachari listens to a guru. He listens means that he shravanam. He does the shravanam. Shravanam means reading the Upanishads. Reading Upanishad, what is this, Brahma Sutra and also Gita, all these things, Prasthanatraya, reading Prasthanatraya and understanding it is Shravanam. So the brahmachari goes to a Gurukula, he listens, he does Shravanam, and then he does also Bhiksha Bhuktyadi. Brahmachari, he doesn't cook his food. Brahmachari is supposed to live by Bhikshacharya. Only a few years ago, not a very few years ago, maybe about 50-60 years ago, we could still see brahmacharis here and there living by this bhiksha. Even in my childhood, I have seen some very, very traditional places, brahmacharis living by this bhiksha, going to various teachers and then studying. So this sort of thing is, it was there till maybe about 60-70 years ago. So but now, of course, a very, very rapid social change has come, you just do not see any such thing. So, Guru Shishrusha Bhiksha Bhuktyadi Tasmin Sthitaha Tadanusthata. And just as a brahmachari follows a particular code of conduct, he has to get up before his guru gets up, and then he has to do some service to the guru, and he has to sleep only after the guru sleeps. So, various conditions, say the brahmachari, he has to eat a particular type of food. He has to be very, very, moderate in eating. So, all these things. And in fact, regarding brahmacharya, there is one small passage from Chandogya Upanishad which says, what is brahmacharya? Brahmacharya, for protecting brahmacharya or for anusthana of brahmacharya, Chandogya Upanishad says a few things. Number one is, that is ishti. Ishti, you know what is ishti? Regular Agnihotram which a person does, Ishtam, that is Agnihotram. Then Agnihotram means this Tapaha, Swadhyaya, and then performing whatever activities which a householder is supposed to do, mandated to do. Here we are not talking about a small, brahmachari, but one who is a grihastha who wants to stay in that brahmachari ashrama. Brahmachari ashrama means who wants to call himself, to qualify himself to that brahmachari level. That is, one is that he has to follow that Agnihotram, and then he has to do the rituals which are enjoined on him by the scriptures. Then number 2 is yajna. Yajna means, that is Devata Aradhana. Yajna means basically Devata Aradhana, and then giving various donations to various types of people. Yajna also means giving lot of dhanam. It involves a lot of economic activity whereby you are giving what you have to somebody else. It is a sort of activity where you are feeding so many people. So that is Samaja Seva also. Samaja Seva is also part of the Yajna. We have seen in the 4th chapter of the same Gita that any socially useful activity is called Yajna. Yajna, there is a very broad definition given by Lord Krishna there. What is this? Dravya Yajnaha, Tapo Yajnaha, then Swadhyaya Jnana Yajnascha. So a very long, a very broad definition has been given. That is, any activity where an element of sacrifice is there, element of personal sacrifice is there, and then you are donating something, and then you are contributing to the public good, that activity is called yajna. Then mauna. Maunam is another thing. Maunam means not merely keeping silent. Mauna does not know. That is basically controlling all the vasanas which are there in us. Vasana is our own predispositions, all our own prejudices and predispositions. You have to slowly control. That is what is called, say, maunam. Then aranyayana, that is another word used. Aranyayana is to just stay in a rather isolated way. Rahasi sthitaha, in an earlier shloka we saw rahasi sthitaha. What is this? Okay, yogi yunjita satatam atmanam rahasi sthitaha. We saw in that 9th shloka, no, 10th shloka, rahasi sthitaha. That is staying in a place where you are not usually disturbed. So it's selecting a place or selecting a particular type of life where you are not particularly disturbed by all these people. That is one thing. Then satrayanam. Satrayanam means have satsanga. You have to also go to a guru. You have to find a guru nearby and then go to him and then listen to that satsanga. So that is satsanga. Then regarding food also, anashakayanam. Anashakayanam means in matters of relating to food, you have to follow some amount of moderation. So these 6 things, they are mentioned in say Chandogya Upanishad. These are the things which are helpful for a brahmachari. Brahmachari means even a grihastha who wants to be in that say state of brahmacharya. So these are all things which facilitate contemplation, facilitate this meditation or dhyana. So that is why it is mentioned there. So that is brahmachari vrate sthitaha is, that is in the brahmacharinaha vratam brahmacharyam. That is the type of, the code of conduct which is followed by a brahmachari is called brahmacharyam. That is guru shushrusha bhiksha bhakti adi tasmin sthitaha tadanushthata. So he is stationed in that position and then he is performing that. Then kincha manas sanyamya manasaha vrittihi upasamhrutya ityetat macchittaha. What is this? Yeah, ityetat macchittaha mayi parameshware chittam yasya soyam macchittaha yuktaha samahitas san asita upavishet. So first let us see the word manas samyamya. Manas samyamya, we know that manaha vrittihi upasamhrutya. Manas is full of vrittis. You know what is vritti? Not vritti doesn't mean activity, thought process. Vritti, chitta vritti. Activity is something relating to the body. Mind is full of vritti, means vritti is not activity. So, okay, you have taken the Telugu meaning. Telugu meaning vritti means activity. What is your vritti means? Okay, I am a student, I am a teacher, I am a carpenter, I am some mechanic or something like that is a vritti. Mind's vritti is not that. Vritti is a thought process. A particular thought which arises in a mind, it is called chitta vritti. When you say yogaha chitta vritti nirodhaha, chitta is something which is always vartate vritti. The actual definition is like this: vartate anaya iti vrittihi. Vartate, I see an object. So when I see this object, in my mind, this object is there. That is, the idea of this pen is there in my mind, and then the reflection of this thing is in my mind. Maybe even if I take it out, even if I close my mind, this idea of this pen and then say something about an idea about something about this pen may be flashing in my mind. So that is called chitta vritti. My mind, manaha, vartate, means that is, it is living with this particular idea. It is staying with this particular idea. Vartate, you understand? Vartate. So it is with that idea. The mind is at that time with that idea. So that particular idea is called vritti. Let us say idea or a thought process, that is vritti. So mind, in the last class also I told you, mind is something which is just wandering. Mind is compared to a wheel. I told you that Brahma, it is Brahmana, what is this? This naimisham. While explaining that word naimisham is a place where your mind stands still. Nemi is the rim of that wheel. So this mind is something like a wheel. It moves on and on and on, and only when you can restrain and bring it to a halt. So that is the stage That is the stage where you are able to concentrate, where you are able to focus on a particular idea and then induce you to this flow of thoughts. That is the meditation. Concentration is the first step. Dharana is the first step. The second step is dhyana. Concentration is like that convex lens, that focusing on a particular point. The second step is, after focusing on a particular point, allow only similar thought process and then disallow dissimilar thought process. So what is that called? Tulya pratyaya santatihi. What Shankaracharya says, Tulya pratyaya santatihi asankirna cha atat pratyayahi. You are not supposed to allow the other dissimilar or discordant thoughts. Only one harmonious thought process has to be there. So that is what is called vritti pravaha. So here vrittihi upasamhrutya. So he is talking about upasamhrutya of all these vrittis. So you have to make your mind totally free of all these chitta vrittis. So that is in the same process which was told earlier. You have to samam kaya shiro grivam, samprechya nashikagram. All this thing has to go on because the body is actually helping the mind. Body, with the control of the body, is helping the mind. That is, consciously controlling the body is in a way helping in the process of controlling the mind. So that we have to understand. So, vrittihi upasamhrutya ityetat. Then after having done that, Macchittaha means Mayi Parameshware Chittam Yasya Soyam Macchittaha. Mayi, we know that whenever Lord Krishna refers to him, it is not does not refer to Yadava king, but it refers to the supreme reality. So Mayi Parameshware, in that supreme Brahman, Chittam Yasya Saha Macchittaha. Then Yuktaha Samahitasan Asita Upavishet. Yuktaha, Macchittaha Yuktaha, Samahitaha. Samahita means in that. Samahita always implies samadhi. In samadhi means samahita. Samahita is in samadhi. That is, your mind is balanced there. It is staying in a particular position of equanimity. So that is that that is samahitaha. Samahitasan asita ityetat. Then matparaha. Aham paraha yasya.
Aham paraha yasya.
Soyam matparaha.
Soyam matparaha.
Okay, matparaha means he should not only dwell on me, he should also think that this is the supreme thing to be followed. Suppose you are thinking of something. Okay, you may be concentrating on a thing, but then you don't think that that is the supreme thing. So what he says is, what Lord Krishna says is, he should not only machittaha, but matparaha. You should not only think of me, but you should also be sure that this is the highest path, this is the most supreme path. So that is what he says, and Shankaracharya is going to give a very funny, not funny, very, very unusual of Shankaracharya. He is giving some explanation which is which normally you and I will give. That is, Yasya Soyam Matparaha. Let us see what Shankaracharya says. Bhavati Kaschid Ragi.
Bhavati Kaschid Ragi.
Stri Chittaha.
Stri Chittaha.
Natu Striyameva Paratvena Grunhati.
Natu Striyamena Paratvena Grunhati.
Striyameva.
Striyameva Paratvena Grunhati.
Kim Tarhi.
Kim Tarhi.
Rajanam Mahadevam Va.
Rajanam Mahadevam Va.
Okay, he gives a slightly light-hearted example. What is this? Bhavati Kaschid Ragi Stri Chittaha. Suppose you are interested in your, say, girlfriend, let us say. Stri Chittaha. In those days, of course, girlfriend concept was not there. Let us say wife. You are interested in your wife. Stri Chittaha. Stri Chittaha means you are always thinking about her only. You are always having so much of infatuation. Bhavati Kaschid Ragi. The word Ragi also means one who has that raga is Ragi. Strictly, maybe a correct translation will be a very highly infatuated person. A very highly infatuated person. He is always thinking of his beloved. But then, when it comes to, say, evaluating it as to whether that is the highest thing in life, so if you ask him, is it the highest thing in life? No, that is not the highest thing. You have to go and salute your boss. You have to go and do some prayer in a temple. So that is what he says. Kim tarhi rajanam mahadevam va. Matparaha, he is only Sri Chittaha, but not Sri Paraha. That is, he is only definitely infatuated, there is no doubt. But he does not consider that as that to be the supreme thing. He considers his Raja to be supreme. or he considers Mahadeva to be supreme. So that is it. So somebody, some infatuated man may be there, he may be thinking of his wife, but then he does not think it as supreme. So like that, here this yogi, this sannyasi should not only think of me, think of the supreme reality, but he should also realize that there is nothing more than that. There is nothing more than that and nothing beyond that and nothing else which he has to look after. So he should be always after it. He should give the highest value to that. So that is the meaning. Mahadevam va ayam tu machittaha mat parascha.
Ayam tu machittaha mat parascha.
So ayam, this particular man means we are referring to this sadhaka or a sannyasi. He is machittaha mat paraha. That is it. Then next shloka, next atha idanim yoga phala muchyate.
Yoga phala muchyate.
So okay, what is the yoga phala? So that is what he is saying. We are now seeing that over a period of time, this man is putting in all effort in order to reach, arrive at a stage. That Yoga Sutra we have to remember, Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam Tan Nirodha. This Abhyasa is constant practice. Then Vairagya. Abhyasa alone is not enough. Vairagya, that is dispassion, that is Viveka. Viveka leads to Vairagya. So these two things have to be continuously there. And that is what we have seen hitherto. Hitherto in all these earlier shlokas, we have seen all that process. And with that, what is the result? We are seeing in this particular shloka. Let us read the shloka. Yunjannevam sadatmanam yogi niyatamanasah shantim nirvana paramam mat samstham adhigacchati. So yogi niyatamanasah evam yogam yunjan. So again the subject is yogi. This yogi niyatamanasah, that is having controlled his mind. Having controlled his mind. Evam, in this manner, sada atmanam yunjan. Yunjan evam sada atmanam. Sada atmanam yunjan. That is, always he should be restraining himself. Always he has to keep his mind under control. His mind control is something which is told again and again because that is the most difficult thing. The control on the mind is something which is very, very difficult. So that is why it is repeatedly told. So this line, let us see, evam, in this manner, atma sada, always, atmanam yunjan, by applying oneself to this yoga, this yogi, niyata manasaha, having controlled his mind, niyata, you know the word niyata. Ni is an upasarga, yata, niyata, that is having controlled. Then shantim nirvana paramam. Shantim, he attains that level of equanimity. What is the qualification of that equanimity, or what is the level of that equanimity? Nirvana paramam. That is nirvana. Nirvana, we have seen this word. Nirvana, I have explained this word I think a couple of times. You keep a lamp in a place. Suppose there is a breeze. This lamp keeps on flickering. Suppose there is no breeze at all. This lamp stops flickering and the lamp glows in a very, very normal, very steady way. So that is the stage, it is called nirvana. Nirvana means vati means a breeze, the breeze comes and goes. So if that breeze is there, that is not a nirvana. So when all the breeze has stopped, that is the state called nirvana. Of course, air will be there. If oxygen is not there, it will not glow. So breeze means there is a wind. There is no question of, there is not even a slight wind which is coming, which is trying to shake that lamp, shake that light. So that is what is that nirvana. So this yogi's mind is so steady like that flame of that lamp, where there is not even a small flicker, there is not even a small shaking also is there. So his mind is so focused. So that is that nirvana. So which means his mind is in that state of Brahman awareness. So that is that nirvana paramam is, this shanti is something which is culminating in that nirvana. Nirvana parama, that is shanti which is leading to that nirvana, shanti which is culminating in that nirvana. Shantim nirvana paramam mat samstham adhigacchati. And where is that nirvana? Mat samstha. Mat samstha means it is with me. It is with me, not exactly my control. It is with me means it is this man also reaches the state of Brahman. This mat, I means Brahman only. So he comes to that level of Brahman awareness. Mat samstham adhigacchati. He attains that particular state. So a person who is constantly doing this abhyasa and vairagya, so this sadhaka, he attains that stage of peacefulness, attains that stage of equanimity, where, which is culminating in nirvana, which is culminating in such a totally, a state which is totally free of any type of disturbance, and then it is nothing other than this Brahman awareness. Mat samstham adhigacchati, he attains. So let us see the bhashya. Is the shloka clear? Mat samstham means that which is with me. Adhigacchati, attains. Nirvana paramam, that which is having nirvana as the culminating point. So that is it. Is the shloka clear?
Yes.
Okay, let us read the bhashyam. Yunjan niti.
Yunjan iti.
Yunjan samadhanam kurvan.
Yunjan samadhanam kurvan.
Evam yathoktena vidhanena.
Evam yathoktena vidhanena.
Sada atmanam.
Sada atmanam.
Yogi niyatamanasah.
Yogi niyatamanasah.
Niyatam samyatam manasam manaha yasya saha ayam.
Niyatam samyatam manasam manaha yasya saha ayam.
Niyatamanasah.
Niyatamanasah.
So Yunjan means by applying oneself. Samadhanam kurvan. Yuj dhatu, that is Yunjan, by doing it, that is by constantly applying himself to that particular goal. That is Samadhanam kurvan. He is trying to achieve that Chitta Samadhanam. Chitta Samadhanam is to bring it under control, bring it under Samadhi. Samadhanam kurvan, evam means in this manner, yathoktena vidhanena, sada, always, atmanam, yogi, that is yogi means sannyasi, niyatamanasah. Again we know this word niyatam, samyatam, manasam, yasya saha, niyatamanasah, one who has totally kept his mind under control. Sa shantim uparatim. Shanti means, okay, this we have to read. Sa shantim uparatim.
Sa shantim uparatim.
Nirvana paramam.
Nirvana paramam.
Nirvanam mokshaha.
Nirvanam mokshaha.
Tat parama nishtha yasya shantehe.
Tat parama nishtha yasya shantehe.
Sa nirvana parama.
Sa nirvana parama.
Tam nirvana paramam.
Tam nirvana paramam.
Mat samstham.
Mat samstham.
Madadhinam.
Madadhinam.
Adhigacchati prapnoti.
Adhigacchati prapnoti.
So, sa shantim uparatim. Shanti means uparati. Uparati, we know, uparati means withdrawal from all these sensory things. So, that is that level of shanti. Then nirvana paramam. He is explaining that word nirvana parama. Nirvana means mokshaha. Nirvana means, moksha means that is liberation from all types of anxieties, liberation from all types of, delimiting identity factors. So this sannyasi, he has gone out of that ego, definition of that ego. He has dissolved his ego in the Brahman consciousness. We are talking about that stage. So he has dissolved his ego in that Brahman awareness. So that is what is called moksha. He has shaken off all other shackles. He has given up, he has thrown away all the shackles, and then he is in that awareness that he is that Shuddha Chaitanya. So that is moksha, nirvanam moksha, tat parama nishtha yasyaha shantehe. That is the final stage, that is the supreme nishtha. Nishtha is that level. Yasyaha shantehe. That is that shanti is actually reaching or culminating in that particular nishtha. The shanti, it is reaching that particular nishtha. So that is what is called nirvana paramam. Nirvanam is the thing, that is the stage which this shanti is attaining. Nirvana paramam. Tam nirvana paramam. Mat samstham. Mad adhinam. Mat samstham means mad adhinam. That which is with me. Mad adhina. Na adhinam, we say in Telugu. Mad adhinam means that is with me. That is, what is it? Then the Anandagiri says, Madatmikam ityartha, Mad Atmikam. It is my own self. Madatmika. It is my own self. That is, this sadhaka is nothing different from my own self. So he attains that particular stage. And another commentator says, Eki bhavena avasthanam. Eki bhavena means So he becomes one with Brahman. He loses his identity, and then he realizes that he is nothing other than that Brahman himself. So Matsamstam means Madadhinam, or otherwise Madatmikam. It is only he becomes myself, and then Eki Bhavena Avasthanam, he becomes one with me. So that is it. So which means this particular sadhaka, he gives up his limited identity and then identifies himself with the Brahman consciousness. So madadhinam adhigacchati prapnoti. Then idanim yoginaha aharadi niyamaha uchyate. So for that yogi, for that sannyasi, what is the aharadi niyama? Ahara, vihara, all these things. Ahara, what should be the intake? Ahara, strict meaning is intake. Ahriyate iti ahara. That which is taken in is called ahara. Of course, Shankaracharya is going to say the same thing. Ahriyate, that which is being taken, that is called, the intake is called ahara. Then let us read this shloka. Natyashnatastu yogosti na chaikanta manashnataha na chati swapnashilasya jagrato na ivacha Arjuna. Hey Arjuna, is the sambodhana. Na ati ashnataha asti atyashnataha tu yogaha asti. So natyashnatastu yogosti, it has to be split in 4 or 5 small parts. Na ati ashnataha tu yogaha asti. Tu means on the other hand. This two, let us take it first. Tu on the other hand. Atyashnataha. Ashnan means one who is eating. Ashnan means one who is eating. Ashnan, gachan, swapan, shwasan. We saw that. Ashnan, that is one who eats. Ashnataha means, that is in Shashti Vibhakti. For the one who eats. Ashnataha. Atyashnataha. Ati plus ashnataha, atyashnataha. For the one who gluttonously eats, who eats too much. Ati plus ashnataha, atyashnataha. For one who eats gluttonously. Na plus atyashnataha. For one who eats gluttonously, something is not there. So it is being, so there is some nishedha being told. What is that? Let us see. Yogaha nasti. That is, yoga will not be achieved by somebody who is a glutton. So that is the meaning. One who gluttonously eats. So when you sit before food, so that is why we have got this pranahuti. Pranahuti, what is the meaning of this pranahuti? So when we sit for food, say, if you generally go to a party, what will they do? Somebody who is not, taught in this particular manner, the moment something is food, the fellow will start eating. But then somebody who knows this particular tradition, he will not eat till various things are put, until there is a proper, this mantram, you have to purify the food, and then you have to again give this pranahuti. What is this pranahuti? Pranahuti is pranaya swaha, apanaya swaha, samanaya swaha, vyanaya swaha, udanaya swaha, samanaya swaha. Last we also say brahmane swaha. What does it mean? So what I am eating is not for me, but there is a prana shakti which is enabling this body to live. This pranas, there are 5 pranas in the body. Pranapana samanascha dano, pranapana samanascha dano vyanavcha vayavaha. So these 5 vayus which are there, that these are the vayus which are giving the energy in the body. So we know that there is a prana, what is this annamaya kosha and pranamaya kosha. What is this pranamaya kosha is that energy body, energy level is that pranamaya kosha. So without this, nothing will happen. Without this prana, I can't do my sadhana also. Without this prana, there is no question of sadhana also. This prana, sadhana and all the things will come into picture only when you have this prana. So you are giving your ahutis, and prana is also compared to fire. Prana is compared to fire, and then this is annam. And when you are doing with that, when you are eating with that particular bhavana, that whole thing is called Agnishtoma Yaga. It is equal to Agnishtoma. Agni and Soma. Soma is food, Agni is fire. So you are giving this food to that fire. So there is that fire which is in every human body, which is called the Vaishvanaragni. And then you are feeding that Vaishvanaragni. So that is why when you sit for food, Pranaya swaha, apanaya swaha, vyanaya swaha, udanaya swaha, samanaya swaha. You lift one particular small, say, rice, piece with these two fingers, and then just throw it here and then you swallow. So that is what we are supposed to do. That is reminding oneself constantly that you are not supposed to eat gluttonously. You are supposed to eat only that much which is required for the body. And in fact, Shankaracharya says, what is this? The Bheshajam Bhujyatam. There is one line which says that bhiksha or whatever food you eat, it should be something like a medicine. Whatever food you eat, that is something like a medicine, that you have to take annam like a medicine only. You have to take your food like a medicine in order to survive, in order to see that the prana shakti is maintained properly. So that is why we do we have all that procedure. Then na atyashnataha tu yogaha asti. Yogaha atyashnataha na asti. That is, this yoga is not possible for a glutton. Then nacha ekantam anashnataha. Ekantam means completely. He goes to the other extreme. Eka anta. He goes to the other extreme. That is the other end. What is that? Anashnataha. Na plus ashnataha. He doesn't eat at all. So somebody who is doing all types of tamasa sadhana. So like Ravanasura does some tapas for thousands and thousands of years. We are going to see Sattvika sadhana, Rajasa sadhana, Tamasa sadhana in Tamasa shraddha in subsequent chapters. What is that? You have your whatever sadhana we do, it should be associated with sattvika feelings, sattvika sadhana. Then Rajasa sadhana is aspiring for something. Aspiring for something, I have to achieve this, I have to achieve this. Tamasa sadhana is much worse. I have to kill my enemy, I have to conquer this, I have to kill all these gods. That was what the desire of Ravanasura was. All these Rakshasas whom we see in Puranas, their ambition is to kill all these devas, to kill all these the sattvika elements, and then become powerful. So that is the tamasa guna. So we are not supposed to, a sadhaka who is in this field of brahmacharya, he is not supposed to do that rajasa tamasa sadhana. He has to do only sattvika sadhana. So that is why he should not go to any extreme. Eating gluttonously, of course, that is again a very sign of laziness. And nacha ekanta manashnataha, totally giving up food and all that, that is another extreme. That is again a sort of rajasa or tamasa sadhana. And that should be avoided. Then nacha ati swapna shilasya. Ati swapna shilaha. Swapna shilaha means one who is constantly sleepy, kumbhakarna type. So swapna shilaha. Swapna shilaha is one who has a tendency to always sleep. You sit somewhere and then you happily sleep off. So that is swapna shilaha. Nacha ati swapna shilaha. You should, of course, you should have a normal sleep. Not that you should spend sleepless nights. But you should not be ati swapna shilaha. Then jagrataha naiva cha Arjuna. Jagrataha naiva. Then you should not always keep yourself awake. When you say that nacha ati swapna shilasya, it does not mean that you should be always awake. You should have proper sleep. Whatever sleep is required for the body, maybe about 6 to 7 hours, whatever it is, that you have to have necessarily have. And then you have to do the sadhana. And then sleep also becomes as part of sadhana in that manner, because sleep again, which will give you some, it will give all it revitalizes you, invigorates you, and then makes you eligible for better sadhana the next morning. So that is the, you should avoid extremes, and you should engage yourself in a sattvika sadhana is the meaning of this shloka. Let us read the bhashyam. Na atyashnataha atmasammitam annam annaparimanam atitya ashnataha atyashnataha na yogaha asti. Atmasammitam annaparimanam. Atmasammitam means that which is suitable for oneself. That is, each man should see how much is fit for him. I should not eat as much as some Schwarzenegger eats. I should eat only this much, where he may eat 2 kilos. I should eat only, say, some 500 grams or something, or less than that. So, Atma Sammitam Anna Parimanam Atitya. Atitya means exceeding that. Atitya, exceeding what is suitable to yourself, what is suitable to your digestive system, let us say. Atma Sammitam, whatever is suitable to your digestive system, if you exceed that, you become Atyashnan. So, for that Atyashnataha, Yogaha nasti, na labhyate, Yogaha na labhyate. Then nacha ekantam anashnataha yogaha asti. Ekantam means the other extreme, anashnataha, not at all taking food, yogaha will not happen. Then he is quoting one line from some Shatapatha Brahmanam. Yaduhava Atma Sammitamannam Tadavati Tanna Hinasti Yad Bhuyo Hinasti Nadyat Kaniyo Na Tadavati Iti Shrutehe. So Yaduhava, we know this Hu, Va, Ha and Va, Ushanhavai, Vajashravasah. What does it mean? Oh, is it not so that is to remind of something which is well known to everybody. Oh, have you not heard? You know, we all know that this is so and so. That is the meaning of Uha-va. Yadu-hava is it not so? Is it not so that we are not supposed to eat too much? Yadu-hava Atma Sammitam Annam Tat Avati. Avati means protects. Tat Avati. Avadhatu means protection. Yaduhava, don't you know that that Atma Sammitam Annam is something which protects? Then Tat na hinasti. Tat na hinasti means that food, it will not, na hinasti means na nashayati. It will not cause damage to you. Then Yat bhuyaha hinasti. If it exceeds, bhuyaha means exceeds. If it is too much, it hinasti. It will only cause a problem to you, because there are more people today having all types of problems due to overeating. You see, food is required for the human body, but then too much of food will result in too many diseases. There are so many people now in today's world who are having more diseases due to overeating than due to lack of food. If there is a lack of food, okay, it may to some extent improve your health. But then overeating causes all types of dangers. So that is why he says, Yat bhuyaha hinasti. If it is too much, it damages you. Tadyat kaniyaha na tadavati. If it is too small, tadyat kaniyaha. Kaniyaha means too small, too little. Then na tat avati. Tat na avati means that cannot protect you. That will not protect you. Avati, avadhatu. It is shrutehe. So it is from that Shatapatha Brahmana. Tasmad yogi na atma sammitad annat adhikam nyunam va ashniyat. So probably the plate meal is the best thing, because plate meal is something where he comes with two or three cups, and then he puts the cups there and then he goes away. That is something which is fixed, and then you are not supposed to eat more than that. So that is it. The Tasmad yogi, therefore this yogi na atma sammitad annat. So whatever is that which is suitable for your body, which is say gelling with your system, gelling with your digestive system, tasmad adhikam nyunam va. You should not eat over that, and you should not eat too little also. Nyunam va ashniyat. Athava yoginah yogashastre paripathitat annaparimanat atimatram ashnataha yogaha nasti. Okay. Yoga Shastra also seems to have said certain things in this. Yoga Shastra also describes all these things: how much you have to eat, how you have to sleep, and then what sort of asana you should have. So all these things the Yoga Shastra also tells. So he is saying something. What is that? Yoga Shastre Paripathitat. Paripathitat means what has been prescribed in that Yoga Shastra. Beyond that, Anna Parimanat, Atimatram Ashnataha Yogo Nasti. Beyond that, the one who eats this yoga will not become successful. Uktam hi Ardham Savyanjanannasya Trutiya Mudakasya tu Vayos Sancharanartham tu
Vayos sancharanartham tu
chaturtham avasheshayet.
chaturtham avasheshayet.
So right from today we can follow this. If you are not already following it, you have to follow this. That is ardham savyanjananasya. So you have one main course and then all these side dishes, they are called vyanjana. The main course, suppose you are eating some rice or you are eating some chapati or some other type of food. That is the carbohydrate content, which is the main content. Along with that, there are some other curries. Some dal is some place, some curry is some place, and chutney and all those things. So all these things put together, they have to fill only half of your stomach. So if your stomach's capacity, whatever is the stomach capacity, only half of it should be filled by annam, ardham, sav, vyanjananasya. Along with these vyanjanams and all that, you have to fill only half. Then trutiyam udakasyatu. Then the one fourth should be with water. Trutiyam udakasyatu. Then vayos sancharanartham tu chaturtham avasheshayet. The remaining 1/4 has to be left free for very free, say, movement of air, and say, one should be free, one should be feeling light. So 1/4 should always be left free. So you should only take your stomach, half of it with solid food, and then 1/4 with water, and then the remaining 1/4 you have to leave it free just to feel light. So that is the meaning here. Vayos sancharanartham tu chaturtham avasheshayet means you have to leave it free. Shesham is remainder. Avasheshayet means you have to leave it as a reminder. You have to leave it free. That is it. Ityadi parimanam. So that is the say quantity which has been prescribed. Tatha nacha atiswapnashilasya yogo bhavati naivacha atimatram jagratah yogo bhavati cha Arjuna. Okay, nacha atiswapnashilasya yogo bhavati. One who has a tendency to sleep. Swapnashilah, the very word shilam actually means one who has a tendency to be like that. Dana shilah, one who has a tendency to give away things, to donate. Then krura shilah, that is one who has a tendency to be very cruel to people. Then he is swapnashilah, one who has a tendency to sleep. So that is nacha atiswapnashilasya yogaha bhavati. Naivacha atimatram jagratah. And you should not go to the other extreme and you should not keep awake all through. Then again, that yoga will not materialize. Then katham punaha yogo bhavati. Ityuchyate. So when you are putting so many conditions, katham punaha yogo bhavati, then how is it that yoga becomes success? How yoga can successfully be attained? Then, okay, let us read the shloka. Yuktahara viharasya युक्त चेष्टस्य कर्मसु युक्त स्वप्नावबोधस्य योगो भवति दुःखः. So then yukta, everywhere it is said yukta. Yukta means that which is just appropriate to you. Yukta, of course, in other contexts it may be a different thing. Sayuktaha means one who has attained that yoga, one who is in that nishtha, that is a different thing. Here yukta means one who is say following a particular sort of controlled say or moderate, one who is following a path of moderation. So that is called what is called yukta. Yukta means that which is appropriate, that which is just adequate. So that is what is called yukta here. Yukta ahara viharasya. His ahara and vihara. Ahara is food. Vihara means general activity, moving about here and there and then going to clubs and then going to some other places. These are all vihara. Then yukta cheshtasya karmasu. Karmasu, in all activities, yukta cheshtaha. His behavior or his conduct is totally appropriate and he does not exceed he does not transgress any type of say social norms, social etiquette. So he does not, particularly this vak niyama, we have seen this vak niyama, mano niyama and then sharira niyama, three dandi, we saw that word. So yukta cheshtaha, so he has controlled all his activities, that is it. Then yukta swapnava bodhasya, and he should have that appropriate amount of sleep and you should have appropriate amount of wakeful state. So that is every day, maybe he may sleep for about 6 to 7 hours, and then the remaining state he should be wakeful, and then he has to conduct himself in a very, very proper way. His conduct should be very appropriate at all situations. So that is it. Yukta cheshtasya karmasu. Karmasu means in all activities. Yukta cheshtaha. His activity should be very, very appropriate. Let us read the Bhashyam. Is the shloka clear?
Yes.
A very simple shloka. Yukta ahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta cheshtasya. Then yukta swapna avabodha. Swapna means sleep. It is not a dream. Swapna, sometime depending on the context, it may refer to a dream. Then here swapna means sleep. Avabodha. Avabodha means wakefulness. Avabodha. Buddha. Buddha means to be aware of, to know. Avabodha is wakefulness. Swapna avabodhasya yogaha bhavati dukkhaha. Dukkhaha means dukkham hanti iti dukkhaha. We have come across this word atmaha, one who kills his atma. This is dukkhaha means that which removes the dukkha. All types of dukkhas are eradicated. So that is the meaning here. So let us read the thing. Bhashya. Yuktahara viharasya ahriyate ityaharaha annam.
Ahriyate ityaharaha annam.
Viharanam viharaha.
Viharanam viharaha.
Padakramaha.
Padakramaha.
Tau yuktau niyata parimanau yasya.
Tau yuktau niyata parimanau yasya.
Okay. Yuktahara vihara he is explaining. Ahara, what is ahara? Ahriyate, that which is taken in is called ahara. Ahara basically means intake. Yuktaha ahara annam vihara. Then viharanam viharaha. Viharanam, that is moving about. Same dhatu. Ahara, vihara, samhara, many words are formed from the same dhatu with different upasargas. A is the upasarga there. Then you can here V is the upasarga here. Vihara. Viharanam means moving about. Then viharanam viharaha padakramaha. Padakramaha means just moving about. Padakramaha. Pada means foot, leg. Padakramaha means physically walking around. Padakramaha means physically walking around. Then yuktavu niyata parimanau yasya. That is again, you should not be too excessive. You should not eat too much and you should not keep on walking too much, because there is also a prescription that after dinner, say you have to walk, after supper you have to walk half kilometer or something like that. Just like that here also in Yoga Shastra, the Anandagiri also explains viharasya niyatatvam yojanat na param gachet ityadi. Yojanat na param gachet means after you take your food, you should not eat, you should not walk for more than 1 yojana. 1 yojana, I don't exactly know what is the distance, maybe somewhere approximate to a kilometer or something like that. 1 yojana, maybe that is it. Niyatatvam yojanat na param gachet. Bhojanante yojanat na param gachet means you should not, after eating food, you should not sit quietly. Then you will develop some punch. So after eating food, you have to just move about. It does not mean that you have to keep on running. You should move only yojanat na param gachet. You should not go beyond 1 yojana. So that is that ahara vihara. Vihara refers to that. Then niyata parimanau yasya. That is of that prescribed parimana, of that prescribed say quantity only. Then tatha yukta cheshtasya yukta niyata cheshta yasya karmasu. Okay, yukta niyata. Niyata means very regulated. This is mana vak niyama, sharira niyama, japadi, all these things, all these niyata kala. And in fact, Madhusudana Saraswati also says, pranava japa upanishadavartanadishu karmasu niyata kala cheshta. So you should not sit for some puja and then you should not keep on doing puja for 2 hours. So that is what he says. Even this pranava japa ityadishu, that puja should not go on for hours and hours, because you have to have some time for this say brahma dhyana, for this brahmacharya, for this speculating on Brahman, for this not speculating, contemplation on Brahman. You should have adequate time. If you spend all your time in various other things, it cannot happen. All this puja and all these things, or some other reading, some other things, Upanishad avartanadishu, Upanishad you keep on avartanam. Avartanam means just keep on reading this Upanishad. That should be up to a particular limited, up to a particular limit only, and it should not cross a particular limit. So in all these things, there should be some moderation. Yukta cheshtasya karmasu, then tatha yukta swapnavabodhasya. Yuktau swapnasya avabodhasya. Tau niyatakalau yasya. Tasya. So, yuktau swapnasya avabodhasya. Yuktau means appropriate. These two things are also moderate, appropriate. What? Swapnasya avabodhasya. Swapna is sleep, avabodha is wakefulness. These two things are also niyatakalau, of a particular specified time. For all these things, of course, Yoga Shastra also specifies. Niyata also specification. Niyata actually means specification. So, Yoga Shastra specifies all these things. Niyata kalau yasya tasya. Then, yuktahara viharasya. Yukta cheshtasya karmasu. Yukta swapnavabodhasya yoginaha. Yogaha bhavati dukkhaha. Dukkhani sarvani hantiti dukkhaha. Sarva samsara dukkha kshayakrut. Yogaha bhavati ityarthaha. So he has used a long word. Yogaha sarva samsara dukkha kshayakrut. Dukkha kshayakrut means that which will remove all the samsara dukkhas. Dukkha kshayakrut. So that which will remove all these worries of this samsara. This yoga will become such a tool, such an instrument which will cut off, which will drive away all these dukkhas, samsara dukkhas. For this man, for somebody who is a yuktahara vihara, for somebody whose activities are restrained, and then for somebody who is having appropriate or prescribed, who follows that discipline regarding sleep and also wakeful state. So for such a man, yoga becomes dukkhaha. Dukkhani sarvani hanti. That is, hanti means hanadhatu means actually killing. Here dukkhani hanti means it totally eradicates. It totally eradicates all sorrows, all types of miseries for this man. Why? Because such a yogi, he is one who has attained that samatva, one who is able to see the sameness everywhere. So such a man, he does not see the duality in the world. He does not see the pluralistic world. He does not see He does not see people as either friends or as enemies. He sees everything as same, and then his compassion is flowing towards all. So when he is in such a stage, then such a yogi, for such a yogi, that yoga becomes dukkhaha. It eradicates all types of fears. Vigata bhihi, we have seen, all fear has gone. When that fear also is not there, all the dukkha also is not there. Dukkha is because of fear only. So when that fear is not there, that dukkha also is not there. Then, next shloka. Yada viniyatam chittam atmanyeva avatisthate nispruhas sarvakamebhyah yukta ityuchyate tada. Yada, when this yogi's chittam, that is mind, it gets stabilized in Atma itself. Atma means this Atma is Supreme Brahman. When it gets stabilized in that Supreme Brahman, when his thinking or when his antahkarana, it gets stabilized in that Brahman awareness, then nispruha sarva kamebhya, then it is also rid of all this kama, all the desires. Nispruha, in all these desires and all that, this man has no trishna. Nispruha, spruha means trishna. Trishna is desire. So he loses desire in all these attractive things. Sarva kamebhya, sarva vastubhya, sarva vishayebhya. Then from all these sense objects, from all these sense objects, this man, he has no desire. Then at that stage, yuktaha iti uchyate tada. When he attains that stage, he will be called yukta iti ityuchyate tada. Let us see the words. Yada viniyatam chittam. We read this sloka. Chittam means mind, antahkarana. Yada viniyatam. Viniyatam means well regulated. V plus niyatam. Niyatam is regulated. Viniyatam, well regulated. That V is a upasarga which strengthens a particular dhatu's meaning. Yada, when that antahkarana is totally well regulated, then atmanyeva avatisthate. When it is in that advitiya atma, when it is stabilized in that advitiya brahma, avatisthate means when it is there only, it does not move about, it is not coming out here and there. When it is like that, then nispruhaha. Nispruhaha means nispruha from what? Sarva kamebhya nispruhaha. Sarva kamebhya, from all sense objects. Sarva kamebhya, from all attractions, from all things which say sense objects which drag you. From all those things, nispruhaha, nirgata spruha, all this trushna has gone. Then tada, at that time, yuktaha iti uchyate. So that man is called yukta. He is called yoga yukta. He can be called a perfect sannyasi. So that is the meaning here. Let us read the bhashyam. Atha adhuna, is the time over? Totally? Then we will see this in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.